Hi, welcome to Box on the Box Rock and Cellular, Bot Brack for short. I'm over Box. So today I'm going to pick my top 10 rock films or music related films. So it's been quite tricky this because I kind of had to reach a decision. Well, what is a rock or music film? Is it a film about a musician? Is it a biopic? Is it a film where rock music features heavily? But I've sort of come to a decision about it. But I'll just run through a few. Some good biopics. Walk the Line, Johnny Cash biopic. Love and Mercy. This is a really good Brian Wilson Beach Boys biopic with Paul Dano and John Cusack both playing Brian Wilson at different points in his life. Elvis, most recently with Star Making Turn from Austin Butler. Control, that great biopic with Anton Corbijn of Joy Division. The Runaways, which is quite good fun, biopic of them with Kristen Stewart and Dakota Fanning. Bohemian Rhapsody, cheesy direction but a really cool central performance and recreates the Live Aid stuff. What's Love Got to Do with It? Really good Tina Turner biopic with excellent performance from Angela Bassett. And then you get films that kind of feature music or musicians in them, but are kind of fictional. A great one I saw recently was Wild Rose, from about 5 years ago. Really great performance from Jessie Buckley and that. She's got a great voice. Just really good gritty realism in it, a bit of grit in it, but she goes to Nashville. Things don't turn out the way you expect. Really good. And then you get Backbeats. That's just another biopic. John Lennon and the relationship with Stuart Sutcliffe, really good. Quadrophenia uses the music of The Who. High Fidelity, really funny comedy with John Cusack. It's all about records and music, but it's a rom-com really. And then of course the comedy School of Rock with Jack Black, which is loads of fun and has good music in it. One of my favourites of this genre about musicians is Inside Llewyn Davis, which is the Coen Brothers film with a great performance by Oscar Isaac. If you're a musician, you can really relate to his sort of ego struggles, but also his struggles. There's a brilliant bit where he goes to basically perform for an A&R man, and it's just it's a priceless scene anyway. But if you're a musician, you understand it. But the thing with all these films is that they're either biopics with actors playing them, or just fictional. And what I like is when, or find weird, or proper rock pick is when bands play themselves, or they play characters in the film a different band, or a film kind of casts rock stars and so on. So I've come up with 10. This was pretty hard. I'm going to go for it. So my number 10 choice is a bonkers film. And this is the film that was made at the end of the TV series. It was supposed to send a band who were manufactured, but I think they're really good in a way. They had great songs written by other artists. In a different direction. It didn't work. It was also written by Jack Nicholson and Bob Rafelson, directed by Bob Rafelson, I think, and of course it's the Monkees film Head. If you've never seen this, it's completely mad. It's kind of got a Nouvelle Vague feel to it. It's kind of trying to capture that spirit of '68, the Paris riots and so on, student demonstrations, the Vietnam era. And it uses some pretty crazy psychedelic techniques. It makes no sense, but what's interesting about it is how it uses the Monkees, how it trashes and comments on the manufactured nature of the Monkees, and doesn't use the Monkees' best songs either. So it's kind of a curio, but it's an interesting film and it's worth checking out, and it fits my remit. It basically stars the Monkees. My next choice is a shit film. I've only seen this once, but it's just such a curiosity. It's kind of been buried a bit. But I remember when I saw it, I think I managed to rent it on video. And not a band I'm a massive fan of, but it's just that thing when a band's in a film as themselves, and it's Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park. It's actually made for TV. Basically, Kiss play themselves, and they kind of have their alter ego names: the Spaceman, Starchild, the Demon, and Catman. They're playing like Magic Mountain Park or something, and Anti Zerb, some like mad inventor. I think he's got robots who kiss or something. Anti Zerb, you'll know, he gets basically exploded in License to Kill a Bomb film, but he's great in the Omega Man. So anyway, Kiss Me to Phantom of the Park is kind of shit, but it's the first time I heard the word sorority. I think Ace Frehley, Spaceman, says something about a sorority house. And I thought, what's a sorority house? And it took me ages to find out what that was. So anyway, I think that's from 78. My next choice I'm going for is, this could not make the cut. It's been made 4 times, but the last 2 times it was made, it starred at musicians in it. It's A Star Is Born, so and it's the most recent version starring Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, and that's what qualifies it really. Going back, the original version is from 1937. Is it got Frederick March in it, and is it Myrna Loy? I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. I've got that totally wrong. The better known version from that era is the Judy Garland, James Mason version from 1954. Then of course there's the Chris Christopherson, Barbara Streisand version, which is very rock. But this version, I think Bradley Cooper does great direction. He does really good at playing a kind of Christopherson type of character. He films all the sequences. The live sequences very authentically, and kind of uses lighting from a 1970s style, probably inspired by The Last Waltz, the great Scorsese documentary, the band's final gig, I think. But Lady Gaga is the musician element in this. Obviously, she proves herself to be a good actress, and she's good in House of Gucci, and she's going to be playing in the Joker film coming up. But she's playing Harley Quinn. But so it's really good. It's a good look at the inside of the music business in a way. It's good. So that's my choice at number 8. Number 7 is a difficult one. This, I've got 2 films by the Beatles. So my number 7 choice is A Hard Day's Night. Now, normally a lot of people will pick this above the other one. But I really like this. This is kind of, again, got that French New Wave thing a little bit. It's following the Beatles over several days. There's great Steptoes in it, Rutherford Brimley, there's Wilford Bramble, this just captures the Beatles kind of at their peak, but it captures them the most natural performances. It's quite clever how basically it just films gets the natural personalities of the band. It's a lot of fun, kind of groundbreaking 60s film really. Sorry, I'm doing cleaning and mark, sorry, OCD. My number 6 choice above it is Help. Now, why do I prefer Help when it's generally regarded that Hard Day's Night is kind of the 5-star film, Help's the 4-star film. Just going back as a kid, I used to watch this. There was a season of Beatles films at Christmas, and they were on, and Help really stood out because it was in colour, and obviously as a young kid I liked it, and I liked I preferred the songs. I think You've Got Ticket to Ride, it's a little further on in the Beatles' career. The songs are a bit more mature. There's a brilliant bit in this film where they walk in the 4 front doors of the houses and it's all joined into one. And they do, I think John sings Hide Your Love Away in a kind of sunken bed living room. It's great that's the great imaginary house, if you're in a band and you want to get stuff happening, to have like a massive house to rock in. Brilliant. It's quite a goofy plot. Again, makes good use of Ringo's probably the best actor in the Beatles. So that's why I've picked that next. My next choice is a film I saw the pictures when I was a kid at the height of this band's popularity. And I kind of forgotten about it, but it's kind of come back on my radar again. And I do really like this for what it is, and it's ABBA the movie. So this is great. Basically, Lasse Hallström directed it. She had a good rapport with ABBA. He did the videos. And what he does, he just follows them around on tour. And I'm guessing he gets on the Australian tour, he's getting actors to kind of interact with them and ask questions and do things that would normally happen so ABBA don't have to act. It's his peak, Benny and Bjorn at their bearded best and top hair best, and Frida's top peak hair, and obviously Agneta, amazing. The poster for this film's great. It's actually one of the great promo shots of ABBA because they actually look really cool on it and not cheesy. It's like ABBA top. But anyway, it's also got Lou Carpenter from Neighbours in it. I forget the name of the actor. It's quite a lot of fun. It's got a great opening with Eagle as well, and actually features a track that wasn't on any other albums. So it's a lot of fun, that, and kind of captures the other Fab Four at their peak. My number 4 choice I'm going for, and this is the kind of slightly obscure one, but I think this is a really good British rock film directed by Richard Loncraine. I think he did the Richard III film with Ian McKellen. It's In Flame. So in this, Slade play a band called Flame. So the guys in Slade actually did an album called Slade in Flame, and this was like their last sort of popularish album. I think there's a track on this called How Does It Feel, and it made about number 10, and it was kind of, I think it's like the Monkees thing really, but Slade didn't deliberately trash themselves with this film. They were just trying to go a little more mature. So I think the single made number 10, don't quote me on that, it was the kind of end of their number ones, but people really like the songs on this album. It's got a really cool album cover, but in this film basically Slade play a band called Flame, like I say, and it just follows them trying to getting signed and then moving up the food chain, and then the dark side of rock. It's actually got the actor Alan, I forget his second name, he's married to Diana Dawes. He's in it, he's very good. Actually tragically killed himself. But it's decent, I like this. And Noddy Holder, we know, is quite a good actor from when he's time in the Grimleys, and Dave Hill kind of stands out. It's got a really good 70s feel. This it's got and it's kind of fitting. It's in that post kitchen sink drama. It's capturing the gritty side of life. Kind of some of the locations a bit sort of Get Carterish. Occasionally, I've only seen it twice. It was once on TV when I was very young, and I saw it again recently. It's a cool bit where they go to Radio Caroline kind of thing, and Tommy Vance is in it as well. God rest his soul, great DJ. So that's my number 4 choice. My number 3 choice is the only documentary on this, and it's Anvil the movie. So unusually for me, those of you know, I like metal and stuff. I knew who Anvil were, and we actually had the albums back in the day. My brother had the Hard and Heavy album, which is pretty good. I actually prefer it to the Metal on Metal album and the Forged in Fire album. And this was interesting because I kind of knew Anvil was still going, but the director of the film had relations with Anvil in the past and didn't know they were still going. And then it was like, right, I've got to make a movie about his friendship. And I think it captures a lot of things. It captures the relationship between the two main guys in the band, the kind of unreality, the fantasy of music for them, and also the reality. He delivers stuff to schools for kids, food in his downtime. After this film, Anvil got kind of back on the scene. They were making albums, doing more tours. But the thing is with this is, there's a great bit, in this film as well, where he goes to a festival and he sees the guitarist Michael Schenker. So if you're not familiar, in heavy metal rock circles, Michael Schenker is just one of the greats, and he's like the Mozart of guitar or something like that, or the Beethoven. But it's that thing Anvil were all right at the time. They're pretty heavy. Lips kind of had a Ted Nugent style of guitar playing, but his voice wasn't very great, really. And they're sort of compared to Metallica and stuff like this, but it's that thing where people think a band should be big, and maybe they're like, why did we never make it? But when you look at it logically in the cold light of day, Anvil did incredibly well to get as far as they did, which was playing a Reading Festival and doing quite well in Europe and so on. And the fact they've had a career out of this and got a bit of career rebirth on the back of the film is good. But Anvil do not make great albums and haven't made a great album, in my opinion. So it's interesting in that. A couple other good documentaries, Mistaken for Strangers about the National. Check that out. The band The National, the brother of the singer goes on tour like chalk and cheese. He's brilliant, the brother. The National are a good band. The singer, like a serious comedy, is brilliant. There's a brilliant bit in that where he asks the guitarist how fast he can solo. It's brilliant. And there's Dig as well, which is of course the Dandy Warhols. Is it Jim Jones review the call? I can't remember. That's a funny documentary. It's about the diverging success of two rival bands, which are worth checking out. Okay, so my top 2, I've always loved these as a kid, and I still think they're good. Basically, these films, it was difficult which I was going to pick first or second. They both starred David Essex in peak Essex, and they cast other rock stars or pop stars in roles, and of course it's Stardust, and That'll Be the Day. I've gone for Stardust second. This is the second film. This kind of captures David Essex's character Jim, forget his name now, on the rise, so to speak, and he ends up as like doing a concept album and being alone in some castle in Spain. it's a lot of fun. It really captures like the kind of 70s excess pretty well. Adam Faye's really good as his manager. I think it's directed by Michael Apted. And it's good, but I prefer That'll Be the Day. It's got stupid bits where David Essex is school and clearly too old, but it kind of captures that era once rock and roll hits, where people are starting to pick up instruments, but they're kind of doing jobs. He ends up doing a red coat thing, you know. I think Ringo Starr or Keith Moon's character's there. I can't remember now, but it's a really good film, a really good British film, as is Stardust. I think with those two films and In Flame, I think they're really good kind of British rock films. So that's my top 10 rock films. Like I say, quite an unusual. You might disagree. I should just say the ultimate rock film really for me is the Rockumentary, Spinal Tap. But the reason I didn't put that in is because the guys in Spinal Tap are a real band. They're a spoof band. And it fits into comedy more. I love Spinal Tap, but you know, we'll cover that somewhere else. Okay, thanks for checking out. Remember to share and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.